From the Tech in San Jose, welcome to another Tech Closeup. I'm Mark Albertson, and welcome back to this incredible Silicon Valley. You know, they call the Silicon Valley the world's capital of technology for pretty good reason, and that's the reason that Tech Closeup is here. In this month's program, we'll see how virtual world technology is being used as a valuable training tool for first responders. We'll go inside the world of healthcare, where recent advances in the use of computer-aided detection are saving thousands of lives. And we'll introduce a new segment, Fast Forward, where Rob Enderle shows us the latest trends in consumer electronics. You know, let's face it, we live at a time when we're constantly ready for emergencies and disasters, and readiness for those situations takes a lot of training. Sometimes the training involves innovative technology. Well, we found one firm that uses video games to help first responders prepare for those moments when every second could be the difference between life and death.
Before the worst ever happens again. It pays to practice for the worst.
I think we've had a major explosion, a terrorist attack at the bank here.
What have we got? What's going on?
What may look like a video game is a virtual training system to help rescue teams practice and prepare.
All right, how are you doing, sir? How are you feeling? Okay, keep your eyes closed. Try not to move. How's your breathing? Can you breathe all right?
The players are real people. They're at desktops or laptops around the country. Each one logs on as an animated avatar to role-play a rescue response to terror.
And we'll get this decontamination process over with as quickly as we possibly can, and then we're going to transport you to the hospital.
Now, if it sounds a little like a game, well, that's how it started. San Mateo, California's Forterra Systems built a virtual social scene called There.com. It's where anonymous net surfers meet or play. The concept inspired Forterra to turn a virtual playground into a virtual training ground.
Taking this one through decontamination, officer.
All right, very well. We're securing the area right now.
And what you're really focused on is what you're seeing and what you're saying. And I think for team communications and team interaction and interaction with people in the general public, it's a great training tool.
We observe that there might be applications outside of gaming. So if you look at serious applications, training, operations, support, those kind of things, we believe that's really where the industry will be going in the future.
The application so far includes software that lets the Army practice warfare. Other programs simulate corporate environments, ways for business to sharpen how it does business, and medical response. Nobody here learns how to insert an IV or inject a hypodermic, but they do learn to communicate.
In situations like this, who you talk to and what you say is very critical in the success of dealing with the disaster. And the advantage to this is that you can get people together less expensively. You don't have to cordon off the airport or cordon off an important part of town. You can also do it less dangerously. There are no chemicals expended in this exercise. Nobody's ever hurt. So you can get people together less expensively and more frequently so that they can practice more often. And I think that that's one of the big differences. With those big live disaster drills, they might happen once every 2 years, once every year. People on the night shift never get to practice them at all. So this would make it more available to more people more often. And the more you practice, the more you are ready when this event actually occurs.
So I received a radio call. We could be expecting more walking wounded, but all the medias have been brought in.
The communication is absolutely key. And that's actually the strength of the technology, is that it trains people to communicate with each other as individuals and teams. Discovering what it is that you need to simulate in here in order to get people to be immersed and to take it seriously has been an important part of where we've come, coming from a game background.
That's a challenge for trained artists to selectively recreate reality.
Part of what we have to do is think about an environment and think about what are the aspects of it that need to be there for it to feel realistic, and what are the aspects that we can remove and simplify. And it's an interesting challenge doing that distillation of reality down into what's important. I've worked in the game industry. I've worked on violent and frivolous games, and this is not a game, and it's actually, we're hoping it's going to help people. And so for me, that really does mean something to me.
Some of Forterra's customers credit virtual reality for creative ways to train medical students.
Some also say that they really feel like they're taking care of a real patient, because if the patient starts doing poorly, they have to start making some quick decisions. So it has some realism to it.
We had an idea that if you could simulate a action, teach it in a virtual environment, that then the students could learn before they went to patients. And so our whole concept from the beginning has been to prepare medical students for real patient encounters.
And for life's real lifesavers, virtual training saves time and trouble.
It's not really a viable option for us to shut down our emergency medical services system for the day and call in 2,000 people to pretend. So the next alternative is to create that virtually.
There is a multiple casualty incident, and you've got lots of responders and a lot of people taking care of these patients, and in those cases, yeah, it's great to be able to have them all in one place virtually, rather than having to bring them into an actual physical space to manage the same kind of drill, or the same kind of scenario. We do disaster drills all the time, but they're very time intensive and labor intensive to get them set up, to bring all the players into the emergency department, or in some cases they're field scenarios. So close off a section of freeway, land helicopters, do all that. It's very labor intensive. We can do the same types of things on a computer.
Those alternatives may change how cities plan and build. Imagine a virtual world that lets traffic, zoning, and building teams push the virtual envelope.
Then you can use that model for planning the city, for managing the city, for training firefighters in normal operations, for figuring out how traffic flow will work when you change an intersection, or when a hurricane comes, for planning and practicing how you're actually going to respond to that, or in our case, when an earthquake comes. We're training people, first of all, to avoid catastrophe, and if catastrophe occurs, to deal with it as effectively as possible.
Forterra hopes its virtual worlds help build a real safer world, just as long as the people behind the avatars remember it's more than just a game.
If people are accustomed to video games, we actually have to design this carefully so they don't have too much fun and they actually focus on the training.
So I think we're creating a new industry. We're taking a technology base that developed in one industry, and we're taking that technology and repurposing it for something that is very different. So the objectives in a serious world kind of application are very, very different than objectives in an entertainment area. So we're taking fundamentally the technology and the experience of working in those kind of environments and saying, how can we really create a brand new industry out of that?
That training could virtually make a difference, especially if the worst ever happens again.
Can you train people to, apply medical packs and insert IVs using a computer? Probably not. But can you train them how to communicate with each other and what decisions they're going to make along the way? That you can train, and you can do that very realistically.
When we've actually worked with soldiers and whatnot that have used it and felt like they were getting something out of it. At the end of the day, using it, they weren't talking about our technology, they were talking about what they'd learned. And you think, wow, saving lives, yay.
There's a place where a total stranger will give their blood to save your life. There's a place where someone you never knew will save your child from drowning. A place where people will give you food and shelter after a flood. There's a place where, when you need it most, someone will reach out their hand, put it across your shoulder and say, "Everything's going to be okay." That place is called America, where we look out for each other. And it's up to us to keep it that way. When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
The time is coming. There's no escape from the day you retire. And will you be ready financially? Choose to save.
You know, computer-aided design, or CAD, has been around a long time. It's, for instance, how architects test out building designs before the building's ever built, or how some of those video engineers create magical movie special effects. Well, Christina King found a local company with another kind of computer-aided design. This time it's called computer-aided detection, and it could save thousands of lives.
It's a case of mistaken identity captured on film.
Typical operations would be looking for asymmetries. So they'd look at the right and left breast and look for something that's clearly sticks out because it's asymmetric. It exists in one breast but not in the other.
This single mammogram tells the story. It's a case of one woman which hundreds of doctors, as part of a study, were asked to analyze. Almost immediately, many noticed a clearly visible lesion on one breast, but not many of the doctors recognized a smaller, potentially deadly lesion.
I've seen dozens. They've stopped, they've paused. I could almost tell what they were thinking. Something like, oh, I could have missed that.
Sometimes the things that we are looking for are fairly subtle, and the hope is that one person might not pick it up, but another person will. So in this setting, we don't necessarily need to have a second person. We have a computer acting as a second person.
In this case, that lesion or nodule wasn't noticed until a full year later, after it had grown 4 times bigger. But now, new technology is making mammogram readings more accurate. It's called computer-aided, or CAD technology. And one company, R2 Technology, based in Sunnyvale, California, is a pioneer in using computers to help doctors detect cancers earlier.
Computer-aided detection helps doctors find more breast cancers earlier. And earlier is the real focus, because eventually all breast cancer will be seen and detected, but the goal is to detect it as early as possible, because that's when the chances of treatment, effective treatment, are much higher.
R2 Technology rolled out its first computer-aided image checker product in 1998 with Food and Drug Administration approval. It was the first such CAD system for screening mammography.
To the best of our information, about 1/3 of all women who have a screening mammogram done in this country will have it read with the assistance of our CAD technology, which is very rewarding from our point of view, because we really think we're contributing to the earlier detection of breast cancer.
The program not only uses CT scans to digitally detect abnormal nodules or lesions in breast tissue, it also measures them to compare them with previous scans.
The computer will pull up the earlier images, display them on top, and the current images, display them on the bottom. So you can compare. If you see an abnormality, you can look at it, look at the same region in the previous year and see if it has changed, because change is an indication of illness. If things stay constant, then it could be a natural abnormality.
In developing the technology, R2 engineers relied heavily on past cancer cases, using their mammogram images and what's called a neural network.
A doctor in a typical clinic, actually a very busy clinic, might see 10,000 patients a year. Okay, and in 10,000 patients, they may see 40 cancers. Okay, so they could work 10 years in their field and become very experienced and might see 400 cancers in their career. So those are typical numbers that a human has seen. But this neural network, or our device, is something that works on a database that we have here of literally 6,000 to 7,000 cancers. And it can continue to improve.
Right now, digital mammography and CAD are relatively new, so we don't have that body yet, but we have patients here who have had digital mammograms since 2002. So it's something that can be applied in the past. If that would be possible, that would be very helpful.
developing the software brought some unique challenges that didn't end once the product was released.
The primary obstacle, if you will, is that physicians always believe that they're doing a great job, and certainly they're very highly trained and very capable of doing a great job. So there's a natural resistance. Oh, I don't think I miss anything. Maybe some other physicians, some other doctors do, but I don't miss, and I really am not sure this technology will help me. But based on the overwhelming volume of data and the large studies that have been done and continue to be done, it's really been very well demonstrated that computer-aided detection helps doctors find more breast cancers earlier.
The earlier the better, says Sarah French, a nurse practitioner at Stanford University School of Medicine.
Whatever we can do to help women with an earlier diagnosis and finding something early, early detection to me is so treatable. I've seen it in my practice, and I think that whatever we can do to help women, of course their own exams is very important, but most women have a hard time with that. So therefore, getting to their doctor, having their mammograms done, and with this technology having it added as a protection, just a check, just an extra check, can be very beneficial to a lot of women.
But women aren't the only ones benefiting from this medical image reading software.
So you can see here on the right side of the screen the hundreds of slices that the physician actually has to go through to look for these potential nodules.
R2 technology is also helping to detect lung cancers.
CAD for lung is a relatively new technology compared to our mammography product, which has been out about 10 years. So the clinicians are now getting more knowledgeable about CAD. With the increase of multi-slice detectors, the number of images that they have to review has skyrocketed. So this has produced a need for CAD to help find these small nodules in hundreds of slices of images.
Computer-aided detection is being used by a growing number of radiologists as a second pair of eyes. In fact, R2 stands for second reader.
CAD in particular, or computer-aided detection, helps us detect cancers that might be overlooked by the physician who's reading the mammograms. So it acts like a second reader.
The company is now working on software to help detect colon cancer. Company officials stopped short of saying their CAD system makes radiologists' often tedious job easier.
It actually takes maybe a little bit longer time using the technology. It doesn't take that long to turn it on because we have a button that turns it on and turns it off. But each mark that is put up, we have to focus our attention to that area and decide whether it's something abnormal or something that we can dismiss.
It's changing the way we look at the deadly disease of cancer by zeroing in on life-saving technology.
I know that this technology is being used at the facility where I have my health care done. And the fact that I am a postmenopausal woman, the fact that I know what the risk is of having breast cancer happen, and that not necessarily family history plays some role, but not all. And I know that we live in an area where there's lots of breast cancer, and so anything that I can have that can help me, to me, is a great benefit.
It's a great reason to get up in the morning when you know that on any given day you're probably contributing to helping to save a few lives.
For Tech Close-Up, I'm Christina King.
Here at Tech Close-Up, we love to cover emerging trends in technology, and that's why we're proud to add a whole new feature. It's called Fast Forward. Once a month, noted industry analyst Rob Enderle will join us to profile some of the latest gizmos and gadgets in consumer electronics. So don't blink. Here comes Fast Forward.
Welcome to Fast Forward here on Tech Close-Up. This is a segment where we focus on new trends in technology and bring you a little closer to the products that are going to make your life a lot easier. With us today is Rob Enderle, a noted industry analyst who's going to really help us get down to the nitty-gritty so we can understand how these products work better. I want to start with Sonos because I have a family that loves music. And this is a product that will basically help you bring music to all the rooms of your house. It's
it's a wonderful product. I love it.
Yeah, it's a music distribution system. It allows you to put a unit in every single room of your home and broadcast music either individually to each room. So, for instance, the kids want to listen to one song and mom and dad want to listen to something else. That can be done. Or if you have a party and you want the same music in every single room, you can do that as well. It's easy to set up, very easy to use, very much like the iPod in terms of ease of use. And that simplicity and ease of use kind of makes it the leader in the field right now.
Okay, right, because there are other brands. Sonos has just kind of been the leader, and this is the handheld device that you if you want, you can spend $400 for more so that you have one in each of your rooms.
Correct.
You've got to have this. I, however, would probably just buy one and carry it from room to room.
That's kind of what I do, is just have one, and because very often what you find is, and in my house it's just my wife and myself, so not a lot of kids. If you had kids, you probably want to give one to the kids as well, so I'm not wandering into the room at odd hours to borrow your remote. Could be a problem. But so you might have two in that case, but it's very easy. You've got the iPod-like wheel to select the music. You use this button to select the zones. You select a zone, pick the music, and then hit the button and say go, and off it goes.
Okay, now zones, would that basically be the area of the house?
The zones are where the music players are. So for instance, if you've got one in the bedroom, a zone will show up and say master bedroom. Another zone would be living room. Another zone would be kitchen, or wherever else you have it. So in my case, I've got one in the master bathroom, in the master bedroom. I've got one in the downstairs movie room. I've got one in the living room. And so I can say I've even got one in the garage, so my wife can listen to it when she's working in our kiln. And so this allows you to select music wherever you want it to be, and then off you go.
Okay, what if I want to use wireless speakers with this? I mean, I'm always forever in my house trying to cover up the plug-ins with the wires, putting a plant in front of it. Will that work? Is that too much wireless?
There are a couple things. One, the Sonos comes in two different versions. One that has an amplifier and this one which doesn't. The one that has an amplifier you can plug directly into speakers. This one you could plug in either to an amplifier or plug into a wireless speaker system. Now, the problem right now with wireless speakers is the quality pretty much sucks. Okay. So you pay a lot of extra money, you set it all the way up, and the sound isn't where you want it to be. And so I'm not a big fan of wireless speakers at this point. It's getting better, but it's not where I would spend money for.
Okay, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to spend the money, you might as well have good speakers and do it
right. Put a nice couple studio monitors connected to one of these things, and you get a nice experience.
Okay, now again, what are we looking at? A price range?
Well, typically, if you're going to do a house, you're probably going to do two zones. They actually have a package, I think, for about $1,100 that's two zones and a remote control, and that kind of gets you started. And then you can add zones as you go forward. It'll handle 6-7 zones, so you can keep spending as much as you want. It makes them very happy when you do that.
I'm sure it does. Now, what if I want to use my iPod? You know, I have everything on my iPod. If I could just plug it into here and play it throughout the house, is that possible?
It is, but it's not easy. The problem with using the iPod is the iPod tends to work with other things that are iPod. In other words, Apple's pretty much locked that market up. On the other hand, this does have a music input into it, and so you can plug any device into it that puts out music. You can select the device in the remote control, but you'll have to select the music on the device itself.
Okay. All right. Rob Enderle with the Enderle Group, thank you very much. We always look forward to having you. We look forward to seeing you again here on Fast Forward on Tech Closeup. If you want any more information about the Sonos product or other products that help you digitally produce music in every room of the house with no wires, all you have to do is go to Tech Closeup, our website, and we will get you there. Thanks for joining us.
Whenever there's new innovations or revolutionary technologies, chances are they've got something to do with the Silicon Valley. And that is what Tech Closeup is all about.
Tech Closeup is about even more than just bytes and chips. We cover the people in your community. We're all over the Bay Area. To find Tech Closeup where you live, just go to our website at techcloseup.com.
This is firstgov.gov.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration.
Where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
What are those?
Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time!
Just log on or email us and get what you need. firstgov.gov.
We call Tech Bites sort of a segue into some novel feature here at the Tech Museum. And talk about a segue, here comes the museum's Judy Peterson on, well, a Segway. You look like you're having some fun here. I guess I have to stop you, right?
Yeah, that's the best way.
How long have you, oh, well, you're going in circles here. Okay. How long have you been riding this? How long?
Well, this is my second time. I learned a few weeks ago, and I was going to come down and practice yesterday so that we could do this, but obviously I didn't do that. However, it's an awful lot of fun. You just turn the handle to go this way, and then you just lean forward, and there you go.
Is this,
Whoa!
Oh, well, okay. While you're navigating around here,
okay.
Is this just a feature, or do you use this?
We actually use it. It comes out every day, Tuesday through Sunday from 2 to 3, and we actually have people lining up to just take the opportunity to ride it. So we'll have someone here to teach them how to ride it, to kind of guide them. It's almost like the first time, it's almost like being on a bicycle with training wheels.
Now this
and
is
then
technology.
you get used to it pretty quickly though.
This is technology that was developed here in the Silicon Valley.
And the interesting thing is you don't see a lot of them around. In fact, I saw Steve Wozniak about a year ago riding one around Los Gatos. But apparently in some cities they've actually started having tours with Segways. So you might be able to come over here and learn how to use it and then go to New York or somewhere and take a tour of New York on a Segway. You want to try it?
I guess I'm going to have to,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
This is hands-on television, folks. And this is also my first time. All right. I always compared these to push lawnmowers. All right. Now, what is it that I have to do
Now
here?
keep yourself straight.
Straight. All right.
Okay. Now you see you're going backwards a little bit.
Okay.
So all you do is when you lean back, that's how you go in reverse. So you want to lean forward.
So my body now is controlling the motion.
Uh-huh.
Now, how do I turn?
That little knob
Ooh,
right
ooh.
there.
It's a little bit of just. So Betty, your body motion now controls your speed and direction, or the direction is by hand, but your body motion controls whether you're going forward or backwards.
Correct.
And then how do you stop?
Well, we'll do this. See, you just stopped. But we'll do this the easy way. I'll stop.
Okay. Well, this really is quite a tech bite. Now,
Okay, now-
now here's the ultimate question. How do you get off?
Well, you can run into the wall, or I'll just hold it.
Well,
and you can
thank
step
you.
down.
All right. Well, this is an interesting exhibit. It's nice that we have this. This is a natural for the Tech Museum.
Oh, it's a lot of
obviously.
fun, and people just love it. Every time we bring it out, people line up, and we make sure, even if you get here at 1 minute till 3, you're still going to get a ride.
Okay.
So,
well, thanks for the ride, and thanks for joining us again on Tech Bites here at Tech Closeup, Judy.
My pleasure.
You know, there's always a lot happening with our program, sometimes more than we can fit into a half-hour show. Well, you can keep up to date and get a complete listing of when your cable system carries Tech Closeup on our website, techcloseup.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Levinson. And remember, if you want to stay close to the technologies that drive this incredible Silicon Valley, then join us next time for another edition of Tech Closeup.